Now we are going to recall about what is additive identity. A plus 0 is equal to A. If A is any rational number and if you are adding 0 to that rational number, the result what you are getting again the same rational number A. So 0 is called as the additive identity for this rational number. In other words, 0 plus A is also the result is the same number A. So here also 0 is called as the additive identity. If you are adding 0 to any rational number, we can get the result as the same rational number only. So we can say that 0 is the additive identity for all rational numbers. 0 is not only the additive identity for rational numbers, it is also the additive identity for whole numbers and integers. Next, multiplicative identity. Here, A is any rational number. If I am multiplying 1 to A, the result what we are getting again the rational number A. So we can say that A is the multiplicative identity. We are defining the same number as the answer. So 1 is the multiplicative identity for the given rational number. In case if A into 1 is equal to A, in other words 1 into A is also A. So we can say that 1 is the multiplicative identity for all rational numbers. Here also 1 is not only the multiplicative identity for rational numbers, it is also the multiplicative identity for whole numbers and integers. Okay. Next, additive inverse. If you are adding any two rational number, and if you are getting the result as 0, then we can say that the two numbers are additive inverse to each other. Here A plus negative of the number, it is minus A. If you are adding A plus minus A, the result is 0. So we can say that for A, the additive inverse is minus A. In other words, for minus A, the additive inverse is A. So listen, here in additive identity, we are defining a particular number as additive identity, it is 0. But in additive inverse, we can't define a particular number as additive inverse. It depends upon the problem. Okay. The additive inverse will be the negative of the given number. The additive inverse will be the negative of the given number. Now, multiplicative inverse. Multiplicative inverse means if you are taking the product of any two numbers and the result is 1. If you are taking the product of any two numbers and the result is 1, then we can say that the two numbers are multiplicative inverse to each other. For A, we can say that 1 by A. If you are cancelling this, the result is 1. So for A, 1 by A is the multiplicative inverse. So multiplicative inverse is nothing but always simply the reciprocal of the given number. So you can't say any particular number as the multiplicative inverse. For the given problem, you can define the reciprocal of the number and you can say that it is the multiplicative inverse of the given number. So using these properties, we are going to solve our exercise problem. In exercise 1.1, we are going to solve our fourth problem. Find the multiplicative inverse of the following. Here we have given some numbers. We have to find the multiplicative inverse. What is the multiplicative inverse? If you are multiplying any two numbers, if the answer, if you are getting the result as 1, then we can say that the two numbers are multiplicative inverse to each other. In other words, we have discussed the multiplicative inverse is nothing but the reciprocal of the given number itself. The reciprocal of the given number itself. So here, the first subdivision, we are having the number minus 13. We have to find the multiplicative inverse for the given number minus 13. See here, minus 13. What is the multiplicative inverse? Just the reciprocal of the given number. So we are going to take the reciprocal of the given number minus 13. What will be the reciprocal? We can take, this is in the form of minus 13 by 1. If you are taking the reciprocal, just interchange the numerator and denominator. So you will be getting 1 by minus 13. 1 by minus 13. Here, if you are taking the sign negative in the denominator, it is not a standard form. Write in the standard form. After writing the standard form, just take the negative sign to the numerator. So, minus 1 by 13. So, the reciprocal of minus 13 is minus 1 by 13. Check whether the multiplication, the product of the given number and its reciprocal gives the result 1. So, we are going to check. Minus 13 is the given number and its reciprocal is minus 1 by 13. Here, 13 and 13 will get cancelled. Minus into minus will become plus and the result is plus 1. So look here, minus 13 into minus 1 by 13, we are getting the result as 1. So we can say that the multiplicative inverse of minus 13 is minus 1 by 13. Just its reciprocal. Look at the second subdivision. Here the given number is minus 13 by 19. We have to identify the multiplicative inverse for this number. So we are going to take the reciprocal for this given number minus 13 by 19. Just we are taking the reciprocal, interchange the numerator and denominator. We are getting 19 by minus 13. Again, write in the standard form. Write in the standard form. So the result is minus 19 by 13. Minus 19 by 13. Check whether the product gives 1. So minus 19 by 13. Okay, here 13 and 13 will get cancelled. 19 and 19 will get cancelled. We will be having here minus 1, minus 1. Minus 1 into minus 1 is plus 1. So the given number minus 13 by 19, we are taking its reciprocal as minus 19 by 13, and if you are multiplying these two numbers, we are getting the result 1. So what is the multiplicative inverse for the given number minus 13 by 19? The multiplicative inverse is minus 19 by 13. So next we are going to see the multiplicative inverse for minus 5 by 8 into minus 8 by 7. Okay, here they have given the two rational numbers, but it is in the form of product. They are combined by operation product. So we have to consider this as a single number and we have to find the multiplicative inverse for the given number. Now the third subdivision, minus 5 by 8 into minus 3 by 7. Here the two rational numbers are combined under the operation multiplication. You should not consider this as a single number and this as a single number. They are combining one number only. They are combined under the operation multiplication. So you have to multiply this number and get a value. So here minus 5 by 8 into minus 3 by 7. Just we are going to multiply the numerator with numerator and denominator with denominator. 5 these are 15 and the sign minus into minus will become plus. So plus 15 and 8 into 7, the result is 56. So finally the value for this product is 15 by 56. Now we are going to find the multiplicative inverse for this number. What we have to do? We have to take the reciprocal of the number. So we are going to take the reciprocal of 15 by 56. What is the reciprocal of 15 by 56? It is 56 by 15. Just rearranging the numerator and denominator. We are getting 56 by 15. Multiply the value 15 by 56 into 56 by 15. What will happen? It will be getting cancelled. So the result is 1. So for the given number 15 by 56, the multiplicative inverse is 56 by 15. So we can write the multiplicative inverse as 56 by 15. Isn't it? So if it is combined under any operation means, first you have to find the result, then you have to take the reciprocal and check whether it is a multiplicative inverse and write the multiplicative inverse. The last subdivision we are having the number minus 1. For minus 1 you have to find the multiplicative inverse. So what is the reciprocal of the number minus 1? Taking the denominator 1 means we can write it in the form of 1 by minus 1. So what is the standard form? It is minus 1 by 1. Minus 1 by 1 we can take it as minus 1. See, for minus 1 again we are getting the reciprocal as minus 1 itself. You can take the denominator 1 if you need. If you not need means you can take directly as minus 1. So check minus 1 into minus 1. Okay. So minus into minus is plus and 1 into 1 is 1. So see, we are multiplying these two numbers and we are getting the result 1. So they are multiplicative inverse to each other. So what is the multiplicative inverse for the number minus 1? It is again the number minus 1. So the multiplicative inverse of minus 1 is minus 1. Okay. Next we will solve our next problem. Our next problem, problem number 5. Name the property under multiplication used in the given problem. You have to identify the property used in this given problem. Okay. Look at the first subdivision, minus 4 by 5 into 1. Again 1 into minus 4 by 5, the result is minus 4 by 5. Isn't here? We are multiplying the rational number with a number 1 and again 1 with the rational number. We are getting the same rational number. We are identifying the same rational number. So which property here we are using? This is the form of a into 1 which is equal to 1 into a. Again we are getting the value a itself. So which property we are using here? Under multiplication, multiplicative identity. So in this problem, the property identified as multiplicative identity. The property used here is multiplicative identity. Look at the second. Here we are multiplying the two rational numbers. Minus 13 by 17 into minus 2 by 7. On the other side, minus 2 by 7 into minus 13 by 17. See here the numbers are rearranged in the other hand side, isn't it? So it is in the form of a into b is equal to b into a. You can identify this one. Which property it is? It is commutative property under multiplication. So what property here used? It is commutative property. Commutative property under multiplication. Here identify the property. We solved the fourth problem based on this only. Here minus 19 by 29 and multiplying a number 29 by 19. 29 by 19 is the reciprocal of this number? Yes. And if you are multiplying these two numbers, the product is 1. So these two numbers are multiplicative inverse to each other. Again we are getting the product as 1. So what property here satisfied? Multiplicative inverse. So the property used here is multiplicative inverse. So in this three problem we identified whatever the property used. Now the sixth problem. Multiply 6 by 13 by the reciprocal of minus 7 by 16. Understand the question? We have to multiply 6 by 13 with the reciprocal of minus 7 by 16. For this, first we have to identify the reciprocal of minus 7 by 16. So what is the reciprocal of minus 7 by 16. What is the reciprocal? Just interchange the numerator and denominator. We will be getting 16 by minus 7, but write in the standard form, that is minus 16 by 7. Just take the negative sign to the numerator. That will be giving you the standard form, minus 16 by 7. So what is the question? Multiply 6 by 13 by the reciprocal of minus 7 by 16. Very simple. We have to multiply this reciprocal with the given number. So multiply the 6 by 13 into minus 16 by 7. Just the normal multiplication only. How to multiply 16 with 6 and 7 into 13. So what is the result here? The sign is plus, here it is minus. So plus into minus is minus. And what is the value of 16 into 6? It is 96. 16 into 6 is 96. And the denominator 13 into 7. 13 into 7, it is 91. So the final answer for the given question is minus 96 by 91. Now the next problem. Tell what property allows you to compute plus 1 by 3 into 6 into 4 by 3 as 1 by 3 into 6 into 4 by 3. Okay. So which property allows you to compute as like this? First write it in a form. 1 by 3 into 6 into 4 by 3. It can be written as 1 by 3 into 6 into 4 by 3. So look at this. This is looks like which property? Under multiplication, because we are using the operation multiplication here. Check which property it is. This is the form of a into b into c, which is equal to a into b into c. It looks like this property, no? What property it is? It is the associative property under multiplication. So here the property allows to compute is associative property. So the property used is associative property. Yes. Our next problem is 8 by 9 is the multiplicative inverse of minus 1 into 1 by 8. Okay, we have to find y or y not. See, we have to check whether 8 by 9 is the multiplicative inverse of this given number. This given number is in the form of mixed fraction. Minus 1, 1 by 8. It is in the form of mixed fraction. And we have to multiply these two numbers. The product is 1. The result of the product is 1. Because multiplicative inverse is if you are multiplying any two number, if the result is 1, then we can say that they are multiplicative inverse to each other. Okay. So here they are asking if it is multiplicative inverse also, you have to say y. And if it is not multiplicative inverse also, we have to say why it is not multiplicative inverse. Before checking that, here the given number is in the form of mixed fraction minus 1, 1 by 8. Minus 1, 1 by 8. We have to change it to the improper fraction. How to change it? Multiply this two number minus 1 into 8 plus 1. Minus 1 into 8 plus 1 by the denominator 8. So what is the result? Minus 1 into 8 is minus 8 plus 1 by 8. So the final answer is minus 7. Minus 8 plus 1 means you have to subtract the value and put the greater number sign. So minus 7 by 8. So the actual value for this given number minus 1, 1 by 8 is minus 7 by 8. Now we have to check whether the given number 8 by 9 is the multiplicative inverse for the number or not. Yes, how to check it? We are going to multiply the two numbers and we are going to check whether the result is 1 or not. So let us multiply 8, the given number 8 by 9. What is the given number? 8 by 9 into, what is the number? Minus 7 by 8. The number we got minus 7 by 8. So see, 8 and 8 will get cancelled. 7 and 9 we can't cancel the number. So the result is minus 7 by 9. So check here, if 8 by 9 is multiplied with the given number, that is minus 7 by 8, we are getting the result as minus 7 by 9. Whether it is equal to 1? No, it is not equal to 1. So finally what we can say? Here we multiply the given two numbers and we are getting the result as minus 7 by 9, which is not equal to 1. So they are not multiplicative inverse to each other. So we can say that 8 by 9 is not a multiplicative inverse to the given number minus 1, 1 by 8. It is not a multiplicative inverse. So we can say that 8 by 9 is not the multiplicative inverse of minus 1, 1 by 8. Because the result is not equal to 1, so it is not the multiplicative inverse of the given number. Okay. Now the next problem, the same problem. It discusses the same problem what we did in the 8th problem. See here is 0.3, the multiplicative inverse of 3, 1 by 3. Again you have to give the reason if it is yes or no. Yes. So how to check whether it is a multiplicative inverse? We have to multiply 0.3 with 3, 1 by 3. The result is 1. Then we can say that they are multiplicative inverse to each other. Now listen. Again, the given number 3, 1 by 3 is in the form of mixed fraction. So we are going to change it as a improper fraction. So how to change it? 3 into 3 plus 1 by the denominator 3. So 3 into 3 is 9. 9 plus 1, 10. 3 into 3 is 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. So we can write it as 10 by 3. Now look at the first number given. It is in the form of decimal 0.3. Convert in the form of fraction 0.3. Change the number in the form of fraction. How we can change? Yes, 3 by 10. Because one decimal is that, we can write it in the form of fraction as 3 by 10. Now see here, we have converted this number as 10 by 3 and 0.3 as 3 by 10. Now we are going to multiply this two number and we are going to check whether the result is 1 or not. So now multiply that 10 by 3 into 3 by 10. So what will happen? 10 and 10 will get cancelled, 3 and 3 will get cancelled. So 1 into 1 which is equal to 1. By multiplying the two number, we are getting the result as 1. So what finally we can say? 0.3 is the multiplicative inverse of 3 1 by 3. 0.3 is the multiplicative inverse of 3 1 by 3. Because we checked that the product gives the result 1, so they are multiplicative inverse to each other. In other words, in the form of question we can say that 0.3 is the multiplicative inverse of 3 1 by 3. So see here, 10th problem, write the first subdivision, the rational number that does not have a reciprocal. So which rational number does not have a reciprocal? Think which rational number does not have a reciprocal? Rational number 0. 0 is a whole number, but we already seen that how to write 0 as a rational number. Because 0 by 1, we can take any denominator to 0, then it becomes in the form of fraction, so we can say that it is a rational number. So which number does not have a reciprocal, they are asking. Okay, so 0 can be written in the form of rational number, but if you are taking reciprocal for 0, okay, 0, if I am having 0, we can write 0 as 0 by 1. Yes, it is a rational number. If you are taking reciprocal, for this number, it will become 1 by 0. Any number by 0 is always, we saw in the definition of the rational number itself. Okay, the denominator is not equal to 0, if the denominator is equal to 0 in the form of p by q. If q is equal to 0, the number is not defined. See here, the denominator is equal to 0 means the number is not defined. Here this number is not defined. So for this question, the rational number that does not have a reciprocal. Which rational number does not have a reciprocal? 0. 0 does not have a reciprocal. Next question. The rational number that are equal to their reciprocals. Which rational number are equal to their reciprocal? If you are taking the reciprocal for the given number and its reciprocal should be equal. Which number will satisfy that? 1 and minus 1. See, if you are taking the reciprocal for 1, because 1 is in the form of fraction is 1 by 1, the reciprocal is also 1 by 1. Yes, if you are taking minus 1, the reciprocal is also minus 1 by 1. We did problem based on this also. So 1 and minus 1 have their own reciprocals. Next, the rational number that is equal to its negative. Which rational number is equal to its negative? Okay, which rational number? 0. Because 0 is equal to, if you are taking the negative for 0, again the value is 0 only. So the answer for this is 0. Okay, see here, the rational number that does not have a reciprocal is 0, because if you are taking reciprocal for 0 means the number is not defined. And the rational number that are equal to their reciprocals, if they are taking the reciprocals, which will be equal to the given number is 1 and minus 1. And the rational number that is equal to its negative is 0, because 0 does not have a sign, but if you are taking minus 0 means it is equal to 0 1. Okay, look at the next problem. This is the form of filler. You have to fill the blank. Listen, if you are answering this one, it is easy to answer this questions also. Listen, 0 has dash reciprocal. See here the first, the rational number that does not have a reciprocal. 0 does not have a reciprocal, so we can say that 0 has no reciprocal. 0 has no reciprocal. Look at the next one. The number dash and dash are their own reciprocal. Which number have their own reciprocal? 1 and minus 1. So 1 and minus 1 are their own reciprocal. Look at the next one. The reciprocal of minus 5. These are simple questions only. The reciprocal of minus 5. You have to take the reciprocal. What it will be? Minus 1 1 by 5. Write in the standard form. Don't put the negative sign in the denominator. Okay, write in the standard form. So how? If you are taking minus 5 by 1 means, if you are taking the reciprocal means, it will become 1 by minus 5. The standard form is minus 1 by 5. So the reciprocal is minus 1 by 5. Now listen, the reciprocal of 1 by x. Okay, and x not equal to 0, x cannot be equal to 0 they given. So you have to take the reciprocal of 1 by x. The reciprocal of 1 by x is nothing but x. Just take the denominator, it will become x by 1, which is equal to x. So the reciprocal of 1 by x is x. So listen children, we have completed our first exercise in our first chapter, ratio number. Based on this exercise problem what we have solved, you will be getting your assignment PDF. Okay, solve the problem using the appropriate property. Okay children, thank you.